One thing that's been missing from my beer reviews is just a regular old IPA. And where would craft beer and bearded beer bros be without IPAs? Nowhere, at least Sculpin for sure. Then Corona wouldn't be able to charge you $13 for a six-pack of beer anymore. So my OG IPA, the first one I can remember drinking, keyword being remember, is the Ranger IPA from New Belgium. You know, the Fat Tire Company. One of the first good beers I can ever remember drinking. The Ranger is no longer made, sadly it was discontinued last year, but that's okay, it gets average reviews on Beer Advocate. But they replaced it with equally average reviewed Voodoo Ranger varieties. There's like 3 or 4 or 12 different Voodoo Ranger IPAs now, and for this review I chose 2 of the easier ones to buy at any gas station, where craft beers are normally purchased. The place I first bought an IPA like 10 years ago now was a gas station. So for this review we have the standard Voodoo Ranger. What if we combine the two things, 21 to 34 like most, like zombie shit and IPA shit. And the Juicy Haze IPA, combining those pants with Jucy written on them and IPAs. Alright, let's double pour it and see if I can stay out of the goddamn way. I mean, I'll pour one at a time, I don't have superpowers. First is the Jucy Haze. It's hazy and is 7.5% alcohol by volume. And yeasty and has foam that kind of lingers. Have you ever seen that foam linger in polluted creeks or storm drains? It's whipped and airy and kind of has a little bit of brown tinge to it. Yeah, it's sort of like that. The beer is opaque, you might even say hazy. You can see some white clusters of yeast, I guess, because it's unfiltered. And there's even some lingering spice-looking stuff on top of the foam. Now what about the Voodoo Ranger Regular? 7% alcohol by volume. It pours clear. Guess it's filtered. It looks like apple juice, whereas the other one looks like apple cider or a frat toilet on a Monday morning that hasn't been flushed for 3 days. I mean, I guess, but without the foam. I haven't had apple juice or cider in a while. How's that smell? Now I'm going to admit I don't have the best nose. The regular Voodoo Ranger has a watery pine smell, or hops as one might say. Not too strong, but that's what's there. The Jucy Haze has a citrusy smell, like orange rinds, maybe a hint of lemon or some shit. I think there's some yeast there too. How about the taste? You know, when I had them separately over the last few weeks, I liked the regular Voodoo Ranger a little bit better. Now I like the slightly fruitiness of the Jucy Haze when I double fist them. Jucy Haze tastes like tangy, a little grapefruity, but more like a muted tart orange rind. But with hops over the top. You know, I've never seen that movie. You're like, don't care. It's not a sweet beer though. The mouthfeel is light and not potent, and the taste tapers kind of fast. How about regular Voodoo Ranger? It's piney, a lot less fruity, more like pine needles than grapefruit, a bit more bitter than the Jucy Haze. It sits middle of the tongue too, a little vegetable-y. When you pour both beers out, and when going for a thick head, neither seem overly carbonated. Now I used to think Ranger was my favorite IPA. I mean, maybe it was. I don't know now unless I find a dusty six-pack at a gas station. I remember liking it better than either one of these, and I tend to really like piney IPAs. I feel like these aren't quite piney enough. The Jucy is slightly better than the regular Voodoo Ranger. It has a more interesting flavor, especially if you like eating the rinds of fruits. If you like this review, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment. Thanks for watching.